All right, welcome back to Get My Go. I'm looking at the people in the room right now, and one person is conspicuous by his absence.
You don't need the same lineup every time. It's like when I'm banging all my whores. I don't need the same ones every night. I have a different selection of 3 whores per night. Right, boys?
Tip the cap to that one.
Joe's never done a Get My Go in his 40s.
Yes.
That's a damn good point.
Early on, Joe missed a very monumental episode. I think it was like the first or the second one. Was it John's goodbye episode that we did?
Yeah, that's where that quote comes from.
Yeah. It started off with me and the third. And it was a great episode, and re-released that the fucking what do you call that guy? Now, put that one back out. I don't care if his feelings get hurt.
You have the link to it. You can watch it anytime you want. Anytime your heart desires, you can take a look at that one. All right, yeah, Joe, I don't know what happened. I think he went out last night with the wife. He's still on that 40th birthday celebration kick. He's probably unconscious right now. Well, you know, we had a different target the past 2 episodes, Wrestling Otaku, and we are going to pivot again, and we have a new target. I don't know if he's actually a target. We're just this guy.
He buys his clothes from there.
Yeah. So we're doing a gentleman today. His name is I don't know what his real name is. Again, he's like Wrestling Otaku in that he has a gimmick name. Chad.
It works sometimes.
Chad works. Yeah, you never know.
I don't want to hear that because I thought your name was Chad until right now.
It's not. Are you serious?
I'm sure Aussie would agree with me that people using big names like Chad, it's just weird, bro.
I thought it was Sussy Guy.
Yes. First name the, middle name Sussy, last name Guy.
Yeah, we're doing a gentleman today. His name is Rue. He has a few different shows, Rue TV, Dumpster Fire with Rue. I don't know.
Sounds hilarious.
To give some background info on this guy, for those who don't know, he was around in the very beginnings of Russo's brand. I'm not too familiar. I didn't join the brand until like early 2018.
Same.
Yeah, I didn't really know of Rue until maybe, I don't even know when. I just heard Big Josh mention him to me at some point. Harambe mentioned him to me, but I don't think I'd ever seen or heard anything that he did. Apparently he used to do the Raw review with them, and he did a lot of other stuff. He talks about it in the clip we're going to watch, so you will learn about him. And when Vince tried to expand the brand about 2 months ago, he signed the controversial Aubrey Huff to the new brand. Not to the brand. What is it?
Channel Attitude.
Yeah, It became Channel Attitude. So
it's still the brand, though, isn't it? It's just on Channel Attitude.
It's Vince Russo's the brand, and Channel Attitude is a part of the brand. It's a brand extension of the brand.
Yeah. So Aubrey Huff was a Major League Baseball player. I think he retired 10 years ago. Very controversial right now. He's very outspoken. You know, of course, he's an extreme right-wing personality, and of course, snowflakes don't like that. So when Vince announced that he signed Mr. Aubrey Huff and was going to bring his show to the new brand, a lot of people did not like that, and some were more vocal than others. Rue was very offended by it. He says he was not offended. He was disappointed, but we'll see how disappointed he was. So he engaged in a war of words with Vince on Twitter about it, and then ended up blocking Vince. And then I didn't really know about it until I found out he blocked me. He blocked a lot of people, and then I tried to check his Twitter, and I found I was blocked. Now, I never tweeted at the guy. I never said one thing one way or the other, but he blocked me. He blocked the Get My Go account. What do you got there, Dean?
No, I'm not blocked.
Oh, you're not blocked.
So Rue at that Sussy Guy, just imagine that Aussie Guy and put an S where the A should be.
Yeah, I got blocked. You. I never get blocked by anybody. I mean, what do I tweet that's any bit, I guess, towards anybody or about anybody other than the shows I'm working on? And I got blocked. I was surprised.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Yeah. So he blocked everybody. He blocked a lot of brand members. And then I think last week he did a show on his YouTube channel called
Rue TV.
Yeah.
The Desolation of Smog. Yeah, but this one's going to be different because we're not going after somebody for being a mark because, well, we can't do that anymore. I'm completely into this Roman Reigns storyline on SmackDown. I haven't seen Raw, but I heard it was great. So I am back in the Mark world. Durban's got AIDS from fucking CM Punk. Feeney's big into AEW. So the days of bashing marks for the next few months at least are gone. Durban's literally got a wrestling hat on.
Yep. ProWrestlingTees.com/Mike Durban. Get a Get My Go shirt. Get a Mike Durban Show t-shirt. Or you can get an Adam Hughes t-shirt. This one. Who the fuck is Adam
shirt
Hughes?
Stinks. It should say who the fuck is Adam Hughes. And I've technically got a wrestling shirt on. I've got a Randy Watson sexual chocolate shirt, which of course inspired Mark Henry. And that's the end of that.
Yep. So we're going to be watching this video called it looks different on here, but it's something about the dissociation with Vince Russo. So
it looked wrong. The first time I looked at it, it looked like it was either spelled wrong or being used in the wrong context. But I still, is it disassociation? It looks like
I looked it up, and the word he used is a proper word. But okay, I mean, I would have used disassociation, but
that's what I thought, disassociation. But it's like dick-a-soxication or something.
But he,
do you have the graphic? Do you have the graphic for the episode? Because there's something I have hate with.
Oh boy!
And if I'm picking up on your graphics, you've got a real big problem with what you've just done. So,
the real crazy thing about this, and this goes back to Wangland again, is these people take their links with Vince Russo way, way too seriously, and they feel like I've got to publicly declare why I'm now no longer close with Vince Russo, and nobody gives a fuck. I would bet money Vince, despite me speaking to him maybe 20 times, doesn't know my name. He probably just thinks he's the Irish clickbait guy, bro.
Yeah, is that the graphic you're talking about, Dean?
Yes, that is. Yes, that is. Season 3, episode 4. How many episodes has he done on this then? This is an ongoing.
I love that. That's great.
From disassociating.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't get why he felt the need to put this video out. If you don't want to associate with Vince Russo, just don't associate with him. You know, don't follow him, don't tweet at him, don't email him. Just go your own way. You know, you don't have to publicly.
They can't do that. You know, they can't do that, Mike. That's the thing about Vince. He's a very available guy. Sometimes he might only write you back 1 or 2 words if he has to, but in certain people's heads, you can kind of break down. That doesn't mean we're best friends. Others, as we've also seen in the past, can't kind of separate where the blurred line kind of sets itself. So that's what I kind of took from everything.
Yeah, but the thing as well about Russo is like, and Billy Body does this where they keep making a big drama out of it, and nobody gives a fuck. Like no one, like I will never. We're doing this out of material, not out of interest.
Yes, that's basically.
And stuff and everything.
Yeah, Rue did this, I think, for a couple of reasons. He wanted to, publicly shed his association with Vince because, he probably thinks a certain way about Vince now. And 2, I know he wanted some views from this. He comments about how, all the brand members are probably going to watch this. And, good for you, Rue. You got some views out of it. And you're going to probably get a lot more when this comes out, too. So you're welcome.
All the comments were the Get My Go fans.
Yeah.
Well, what is the view count as of this recording there, man, and stuff and everything? Do you know what I'm saying?
Good question.
Well, while you're finding that, I just noticed how quickly Hughezy's just knocked down a pint, so I'm gonna have to fucking try and keep up with him. Yeah,
that's the shame about it being 11 o'clock in the morning. We still have coffee.
So right now,
4 o'clock somewhere, brother.
Right now, he's at 452 views, and that is on, what day is today? October 10th. So who knows when this will come out, but as of right now, he's got 452 views and 16 comments. 18 thumbs up, 13 thumbs down. So good.
And that's been shared, I think, at least twice in the brand group.
Yeah.
Which, I think there's 600 odd people in the brand group who all are gonna, a bunch of them are gonna be interested in who's talking shit about Vince Russo. So,
and if I could just give like a heads up to people maybe watching this who want to trash that guy's video, don't trash his video in this comment section, because if you go to their videos or tacos and trash them, it only bumps up the view count. So all your insults for them, write them down here.
Yeah.
And thank you.
What's the brand group response to this whole disassociation of Vince Russo?
Good question.
That is a good question. I think probably their response would be what we're about to do here.
Was it a big ooh? Was it one of those?
Oh, definitely a who. Yeah.
Yeah, because you gotta realize, like, this guy Rue hasn't been really involved in the brand in years. I don't know. I'm sure he was involved a lot early on. He talks about it, but again, in the last 2 or 3 years, I really haven't seen anything from him related to the brand. So a lot of people don't know who he is, but
very dramatic.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, look at that.
Straight from the soundtrack of X-Men 2.
Now, can we just point out, by the way, Rue TV is technically on YouTube, so it's not technically a television channel. So there's a little false advertising going on.
Yeah, and later on, he says one of the guys fucks up, and then Rue says, "Oh, this is great TV." I'm like, dude, it's not TV. You're not anywhere on. You're on YouTube. It's not television.
Immediately, I've got a problem with the bottom left guy here.
Oh yeah, dude, this video is worth it alone just to watch the gentleman on the bottom left. We'll tell you right at the start. Pay attention to him. This guy is playing a spirited game of Monopoly the entire show. Right? It's fascinating. He's so into the game. He's very. He shakes the die, and he's very animated, and you can see him counting the money and making trades and stuff like that, building houses and hotels. Good for you.
This is I don't like somebody wearing a wrestling t-shirt. How humiliating to do that, to work. Like, if you look at Drew McIntyre, the wrestler, I'm sure the Durban, when he edits this after he gets back from the if you could compare a photograph of this guy beside what Drew McIntyre actually looks like, that's why I said he looks like Seth Rogen, who looks like needs to use Seth Rogen. It's a terrible person. His shoulders are strange. Who the fuck gains weight on the shoulder? Like, he's actually got a shoulder gut.
Yeah,
it's bad. I hate this guy, and despite certain people being in this group, in this video, he's the biggest there.
Oh, that'll get bleeped. Also, everybody knows I'm the biggest audio critic around. It greatly offends me when people go on shows and they don't have even the most basic microphone. So the guy playing Monopoly, his sound is so bad that you can't make out about half of what he says, which is probably a good thing. The guy in the bottom right, he's got a microphone, but it sounds like garbage, right? And then Rue also has a microphone, and he's ripping off Brother Martin when he's doing the handheld gimmick where he's holding it the whole time. His sound is not very good at all. For a guy that, if you look at his YouTube, he's got a lot of professional looking videos on there. Rue, you got to step your audio game up, man. It's very poor. Now, the funny thing is, you got Josh Hinkle in the top left. Now, Josh he's got an iPhone, and he's got the white standard headset that comes with it. Josh has got the best audio out of all of them. Very strange.
Surprisingly, he's not the most relaxed person on this video with those iPhone headphones in.
Yeah, be an audiophile, not a pedophile.
All right, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rue. You might know me. You might be watching this saying to yourself, oh, yeah, I know Rue. I know Rue from a lot of different places. I know him from Rue TV. I remember him from maybe Dumpster Fire radio show. Maybe you remember Rue from, maybe you remember Rue from Vince Russo's brand. You remember that back in the day?
Not actually ever. If you repeated that again, I wouldn't even have known you from what you just said.
Everybody quickly name your top 5 favorite moments from Dumpster Fire. You first, Chad, if that's your real name.
It's not, I can't.
again, before we continue, I gotta just question why he did this. And if he really did have an axe to grind and he wants to publicly let it be known his opinions on Vince, he should have done this alone. And that's where I'm going to give credit to John Wangland. When John did his initial shot at Vince, and he was alone, right, guys?
Yeah.
It wasn't 57 minutes. It was like 15. And he made all his points. But this guy, Rue, he decided to bring 3 other guys on with him who add nothing. And I edited this, so you're not seeing all the dead air and the a lot of the repetitive bullshit that these guys say. So just all in all, this was a complete failure. Rue, you should have done it by yourself, man. You should have had notes and you should have just clearly explained everything, but you didn't.
And by the way, the bottom right guy, that's a screensaver. That's not a really, really boring person holding his phone. And if you can not look at the bottom left guy, you're really missing out on something. Like this guy is such a typical Mark that I think Wangland might be a friend of mine. Like this bottom left guy is canceling out Get My Go's first season because this is it. Like he looks like fucking Chris Benoit's parenting skills.
That is the takeaway. I'm sorry, Hughezy's right. That's the takeaway. It's hard to go back and watch Martin and Wangland after you see this because this is so bad that if it's back to what you're saying about if this is his point and his axe to grind, this L shape of these other 3 just completely. What does it have to do with his beef?
Well, they all have a beef with him. You're especially the guy in the bottom left.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
Serious
I forgot.
Problem. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But that's why he's so fat, because he loves the beef.
Well, yeah. Hughezy saying he's the ultimate perfect Mark. Like, that's the point, Mike. Hey, like it builds to the crescendo of the perfect Mark response to Vince Russo.
Yeah. It's blurring the lines between like he's attacking Vince's wrestling character. We'll get to that. We'll get to it.
Tremendous. Yeah. Don't skip ahead. Don't skip ahead.
That may be the highlight of this 57 minutes. But
I'm going to tell you a little bit about that in a little bit. But before I do, let me introduce my co-host today. First off, we got my co-host, my current co-host, JVD, the Demon Johnny V. JVD, how are you today, sir?
Hello.
What was that? There's somebody in the background there.
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of Monopoly right now, but I have enough time to go ahead and crap on Vince Russo.
Have you ever, like, I've heard of people having to do like emergency surgery, having to like just say there was an emergency for children. You had to drop the recording and run. Says, I've got to get to the school and collect my kids. This guy's having an emergency Monopoly game.
Isn't an emergency disassociation from Vince Russo? Which one was the emergency?
This guy's a scumbag. God bless John Wangland.
Yeah, as I was watching this, I kept thinking like John and Martin. They seem like Conrad Thompson compared to these guys. I mean, they're leagues above these guys. It's amazing. We thought we'd found the bottom of the barrel, but this is the bottom of the barrel.
In turn, you're going to see more Rue TV tonight. More guests. 200 from him.
320.
In any event,
I'm just getting paid right now. He landed on my property. I'm getting some of that.
Yeah, Dr. Dre.
Apparently, it's not enough. Anyway, we got Dwayne Hadley on the show today. Dwayne Hadley of Uncontrolled Chaos Podcast. I'm a misfit. You're a misfit. We're all misfits. Dwayne Hadley's podcast can be heard everywhere you listen to podcasts. But tell us a little bit more about. We'll say hello, Dwayne, and also, of course, we're going to plug your podcast. Dwayne, tell us how you doing today, Dwayne. Look how handsome you are with the video on. You don't need it. You don't need to hide the pretty face.
I don't need it. I've got the face for radio. I've got the kind of face that makes you just go, ah! What's up, everybody? Dwayne Hadley here from Uncontrolled Chaos Podcast, the show that is, well, it's basically brutal honesty with a splash of bullshit. Mm-hmm. We talk about weird stuff from Karen's Going Wild, Darwin Awards. If it's weird and it's going on, for an hour a week, we're going to talk about it.
Oh my god!
Not that it matters, of course, but it's later on. I'll have to give a spoiler for later on. Bottom right reveals that he's a not that there's anything wrong with that, but with that knowledge intact, what he just said has so many puns that if I was in a prison cell near him, I would try to get myself in solitary confinement. I don't want any splashes of bullshit from him at all. No offense, Dean.
And that dramatic reveal of the screensaver was epic. You know, it went from this close-up, very odd-looking, view of his face to this beautiful paneled room with a high headshot. He's this podcast master who's recording his phone in portrait mode.
Yep.
So it's I mean, he's this is the standard, guys. I mean, I don't know what to say.
I just love it how much fatter JCVD or whatever his name is has gotten in the bottom left. Like, look at that angle. He looks like the fucking Kingpin. He looks like the boss level of a fucking Daredevil game that was never made for the PlayStation 1. That's how topical I am.
If you read their fine print when you try to submit your podcast to Apple Music, it says in the fine print, you must be normal. And I'm like, no, I don't do normal. Yeah. I'm, if it's weird, it's for me. And that's why
we like weird. We are weird. And so is Dwayne and everybody else. And we're going to be plugging this podcast a lot during this episode. Matter of fact, this episode of Rue TV is sponsored by Uncontrolled Chaos Podcast. Every time we take a break, we're going to be plugging Uncontrolled Chaos Podcast.
So wait, time out. So the guy in the bottom right pays Rue to advertise his podcast on Rue TV. Is that what we're trying to figure out here?
Yo, what up? This is Conan, and I host Keeping It 100, my co-host, Disco Inferno, unfortunately. Join us every Thursday on Spreaker and keep it 100. Boom!
Guess what? We've got big news. Someone's back on the show for the first time in months. We had a falling out. We're back. Big Josh Hinkle. Big Josh, how are you, sir? We made amends. Big Josh, how are you doing today?
Well, I'm just a gym dandy. I'm just wore out. I had my COVID booster shot this morning, along with my flu shot.
Booster shot and you've got the booster shot. I didn't know you can get that already.
I feel like Rue brought Josh on just to put a stake in Vince's heart. Like, here's Josh. He really serves no purpose on this thing. And
or in life.
Do you say that because Big Josh is the heart and soul of the brand?
Big Josh called himself the heart and soul of the brand, but yeah, obviously you're not. If you've and Josh has done this numerous times throughout the years. Like, somebody told me 10 to 15 times he's quote unquote left the brand. And somebody sent me a video of one of the times that Josh left the brand, and we're going to see that later on.
And let's be fair, we're not out to get Josh.
No. Yeah, you're right.
We're going to make a few jokes, but there's no hate of oh, fuck you, Josh.
Yeah,
you've got some nice lighting there. Nice. Look at that, even better lighting. We went from nice to bright. Look at the lighting on Dwayne Hadley.
Money is no object when you are a successful podcaster like me.
I don't think his microphone's on. I don't think his microphone's on.
I wish his name was changed from Duane Hadley to Podcast Equipment Hadley. Because, why would you sit beside a mic that's not on?
Yeah, obviously his penis-shaped microphone is not on.
Yeah, at least he's not sitting on it. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
The conversation about the lighting, etc. We made fun of Hughezy for how his background looked, but we did that before we started recording. Have these discussions beforehand. I don't think anyone gives a fuck about what you've got to say about this.
I want to start this show. Now, I wanted to explain a few things because I know we have a lot of people tuning into this show right now for one reason. And instead of boring you with a long diatribe and explaining things to you and kind of really just going into it right off the bat, I would like to.
What do you do with that? He's not even listening to this. He was so impressed with his spin and what he landed on. He doesn't give a shit about what's going on. Him and his big giant zoom on that face. My God.
Yeah.
I got to give Rue credit. His commentary over the top of that was perfect. As you were zooming in, Mike, he was like, "We all know what we all tuned in to see here tonight. It's this fat cunt playing Monopoly."
Fat cunt.
We're going to start things off with a bang. And what better way?
The guy on the right was liking that comment.
To start it off than throwing it to.
Okay, that is not the first time you're going to see that. I'm going to warn everybody right now. That's going to happen a lot during this episode. He's got the worst mic technique of anybody, worse than Wingling, worse than anyone you can think of. He does this thing where he'll cough and then immediately it's like part of the word. It's part of the first word of his sentence. Guys like that, and he'll. That's what he's doing, right? And there's even one part where there's even one part where he moves his hand to cover his mouth, but he could have just as easily moved the mic away from him, but he didn't do it. It makes no sense to me, man. And I get great enjoyment out of it.
My co-host, the Demon Johnny V. Demon Johnny V. I was told that you possibly could have had something to say, something that needs to be said, something that you cleared with me, something that, well, you just have to get off your chest, Demon Johnny.
Are you sure? Are you sure we're cleared for this?
Oh, I've cleared it with you. I've cleared it with the authorities. I've cleared it with Apple Podcasts, YouTube. I've cleared it with Spotify. I've cleared it with Dwayne Hadley's family.
Chad, is he chewing tobacco?
Which one?
Bottom left.
You know, it looks like it. I mean, he's probably chewed a lot of stuff in that kitchen, but the tobacco part of it, I can't really tell because he might just be storing something from earlier in the day.
Got like a pork chop down there.
Something squirrel right in the front.
I think he knows what every part of that room tastes like.
He's the only person in the world that can fit McIntyre across his chest.
So JVD, let's hear. You know what? No. Let's not hear. Let's shoot.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, you're teasing my balls here, man.
Hopefully the last word that was edited out was ourselves. I completely endorse that. This is it. Like, don't watch early Get My Goes after this next bit because it's going to seem like fucking the casino, the bar scenes in Goodfellas compared to this fat, wobbling, balding, bottom lip, Bubba Gump face cunt. Like this is, oh my, like if you have a healthy anus, it's going to be sore after this guy's rant. I watched this in bed a couple of days ago, and I stayed awake for about another 2 hours. I was that angry.
Would you say it'd be like Freddie Mercury's anus?
I don't make age jokes.
JVD, let's set the tables for this because I have a lot to say. I want JVD to set the tone for everything. JVD, just take it away. You could start wherever you want. If you want to ease in, if you want to ease into it, if you want to go crazy, if you want to go demon, I don't care. The floor is yours, my co-hosts. Go ahead.
Well, you never gave me the full story. You just said it happened at a concert. You got a memo or something about it. So I don't know the full story myself.
Oh, Jesus.
That's some good chemistry. Fuck open, Anthony. It's JVCD and fucking Mad Mike or whatever this guy's called.
Rue and his sheepish self-confidence that he's got, just completely like thought he was smoothly and slickly setting up whatever the guy JBD's or whatever his face is, set him up so greatly for the guy to tell him he doesn't know what he's talking about. You tell me, tell us what you want me to say, and I'll do it.
Is it also, with Rue? I don't know if it's just me, but is he all pupil right about now with his eyes? That's what's standing out to me.
Yeah. If he was a tutor at a school for giants, he would have giant pupils. Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the third time he's used that joke on Get My Go.
So basically, ladies and gentlemen,
Freddie
what
Mercury
happened
is.
A lot of you guys that watch this are not on my social media, and you might not know what happened last summer. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, Rue, didn't you have some Rue TV videos back in the day? By back in the day, I mean 2016, 17, 18 on a former WWE writer's website or YouTube channel? And yes, the answer is yes. That is that man we're talking about.
He talks like, you know the Talking Heads song, Road to Nowhere?
Yeah.
Like, and you may ask yourself, you write for the Vince Russo podcast, and you may ask yourself, where have I seen this before? And you may ask yourself, how fat can fucking JVCD get? You know, that's all I'm getting the vibe. Letting the days go by. Oh, God. Once in a lifetime.
That's it.
There it
you
is.
go.
There we go.
You know, I just want to point out that his followers don't, or his viewers don't follow him.
No.
Kind of like it's a weird dynamic and relationship to have with your audience. Like, you guys watch me here, but you don't give a shit about the rest of my stuff. So kind of weird.
Today, yes, was Vince Russo. Vince Russo, I was a part of the brand for a very long time. His brand. As a matter of fact, if you'd like to know a little bit of information about the brand.
I'm sorry, go back a few seconds and watch bottom right-hand corner. If that's not a fucking grinder video, I don't know what it is. Wait for it. There it is.
Yeah, something got inserted.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Name itself. You are looking at the man who came up with the name, the brand. If you want the story behind that, you ask Vince, he'll say Taz came up with it. No, the actual story is Taz got pissed off at Vince, as so many people do. And basically Taz says, no, brother, all you care about is your brand, brother. Light bulb went off in my head, and I messaged Vince, and I said, Vince, actually, I think I tweeted it publicly. I said, Vince, okay, well, all we care about is the brand. Why don't we call our group the brand then? Why aren't
Dun, dun.
I heard that Peter Jackson bought the rights to that story. And by the way, while he was telling that story, I don't know if you noticed, Josh did this, and he's incredibly hairy armpits.
Yeah, he does that a few times.
Yeah, that's the story he's opening up with. So we were talking, and I come up with the idea to put the word "the" in there.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I closed my eyes for a second. Did Taz show up? Because I mean, that impression was pretty spot on.
we the brand? We are the brand, and then from there, it's snowballed. And I mean, to just paint the picture of how long I have been associated with this person, and how long I haven't been, which has been for the past couple months. Well, actually, really kind of longer than that, because it's been a slow deterioration, decline for the past, I don't know, I would say 2 years or so.
But like JCVD's her.
Look at the three other people on this. The only person that gives a fuck about this is Rue himself. The three guys on with him don't give a shit.
The bottom line is, and to segue into what JVD wants to do right now, basically what happened is we had a disagreement. And we're not going to bring specifics into it.
It sounds like a Sega fight game. It sounds like Ryu blocking Ken. Tiger, upper cunt.
I was very civil about it. Vince was very passive aggressive and guilt trippy about it. And in a nice way, basically what I said was, we have a mutual friend. The mutual friend is named Ed. You might know him at home. His name is Ed Ferrara. I've known Ed Ferrara.
Did you hear that? That was a name drop.
Oh, there it was. Yeah, I'm sure he sent Ed Ferrara a Facebook friend request a few years ago, and Ed Ferrara accepted it reluctantly, and now these two are best friends.
I hope that there's interview footage of them out there where he asks him such intense questions, such as, what was it like working with Vince McMahon?
Since 2004, when I wanted to look into becoming a television writer, I looked on the Second City, because the first step you do if you want to get into TV comedy is you Second City. Anybody with any brains knows that. Guess what I found at Second City? Ed Ferrara. Okay, as we know that. So JVD, mute. JVD, mute. I'm almost done.
No, you mute. I want to know what's going on in the Monopoly game.
Yeah, I thought he was ordering his next flash online from a catalog or something.
Rue, don't you know you're losing your audience, man? Nobody's listening to you at this point.
Yeah, how's his fan base going to enjoy this episode if this guy isn't paying attention? It's kind of like making it seem small scale.
I'm sorry, Josh at least is giving facial reactions to things that are being said. The other guy is completely lost, and the other dude's obviously playing Monopoly, but Josh gives facial reactions to every kind of like point when it's made. He gives like a wince or like a tweak. So Josh is listening. The other guys have no clue what the fuck's going on.
I think it's just because Josh still doesn't fully understand electricity. We're joking.
JVD, mute. I'm almost done. So through that, I became friends with Ed Ferrara from the years 2004 on. I'm still friends with him today. I just talked to him a little bit. So what I basically said to Vince was, hey, Vince, in a nice way, can we please have a discussion, person to person, me, you, and Ed, about things, about choices that you've made for this website? And he got pretty ticked off at me that I had an opinion, which is weird because he said the same thing about me and said that I had the problem with people having different. He thinks that he had the problem with my opinion, yet he says that I have a problem with.
There you go. Check out those hairy armpits of Big Josh.
It's impressive.
So the problem is that out of clear left field, he tried to get Ed Ferrara, who is a friend of Vince Russo, in a discussion with Vince Russo, Ed Ferrara, and himself about who Vince was picking to be on the new brand or channel ads or whatever.
Exactly. That's it.
Okay. That's not overstepping any kind of weird boundaries or anything. That's completely normal to anybody that, you've never clearly met in person and you just talk to via email.
When you are someone's friend and you in a nice way vocalize to them that you don't agree with what they're doing, and that I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's being human. You don't have to kiss people's asses and agree with everything.
I agree.
If you see something that is blatantly wrong and blatantly just bad business, just something that's super shady and awful, you should probably tell them. You shouldn't curse them out. In a nice way, you should tell them. So basically what happened is, in a nice way, I told my former friend. My former friend chose to get passive aggressive and guilt trippy with me, and then told me, bro, why don't you just block me then, bro? Bro, if you don't agree with me, why don't you just get it out of the way and block me, bro? And I got to say, it was after a concert. I was very shocked and taken aback by that. So then because, we like to say, Vince is Italian. We have the Italian temper or whatever. I kind of lost my cool for a second and dropped a couple of choice words to him. And then after how many years, Big Josh? How many years ago was 2014 to now? How many years?
7.
After 7 years.
I mean, do we need to say anything right there? Do we need to say anything?
Yeah, we do, but we shouldn't.
Sorry. Do you know what I love of particularly New York Italians, because they've got the double whammy, but I love the fact that it's always, I'm a New Yorker, I'm Italian. Yeah, like that's an excuse for being a fucking douchebag.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't know if Dane would agree with me on this. Everybody from America is American. I don't want to hear any of this. We're Italian, we're Irish shit. You're fucking Americans.
Yep. Just like that. Done. He blocked me, which is fine. You're doing when you're whatever to block somebody that you feel is a threat or a different opinion than yours. But and that was it. That was the end of it. I wanted to talk about it on my podcast, Dumpster Fire Radio. I chose to say nothing and just publicly say that I disassociate myself with Vince Russo because I cannot associate with anyone with those kind of ideals and those kind of values and those kind of associations, let's say.
So had he done it on Dumpster Fire Radio, we would absolutely have never heard of it or heard this, because I've never heard of Dumpster Fire Radio, nor will I ever go out to seek it.
This is where the link goes back to Wanglin. Like, I remember Wanglin saying, "Oh, if Vince wanted to have a conversation on neutral ground, Vince doesn't know who you are. Like, fuck off."
Yeah.
Like, same thing here. I was willing to leave it there, and then what happened? Vince didn't say anything, and that pissed you off. Oh, I've got to escalate it now.
Vince has been waist deep in shit for the past 2 to 3 months because of all the problems with his website and the brand expansion and all that stuff. He's got a lot more important things to worry about than one person's opinion, you know?
Yeah, and that story was so boring. And I don't know if I've been knocking back a few Steve Weisers, but did he say that he left the brand 7 years ago?
I think he was trying to say that was like the beginnings of the brand, like when it was the old format. I think that's what he was trying to say. Yeah,
I just could not pay attention to that guy. Like,
I want to publicly apologize right now to John Wanglin and Brother Martin for calling them the worst podcasters in the world. They're not. They're not the worst. They're not.
Yeah, they're not. But we'll see you in November.
Yeah.
And again, I came aboard around the beginning of 2018. That's when I started subscribing to Russo's brand. I don't have any knowledge or memory of anything. I don't know if he was on shows back then. I don't remember it. So anybody that came along after that, you don't even know who this guy is. You know?
Yeah, keep going. Keep going. Then I'm going to backtrack for a second. Keep going. What'd you say on Twitter, Dwayne? What'd you say?
It's like I've said on Twitter. It's like, this is a guy that is, if it wasn't for pro wrestling, you wouldn't know who Vince Russo was. You'd be like, Vince who? And
oh my God,
that's such a stupid criticism. We wouldn't know who The Rock was if it wasn't for pro wrestling. We wouldn't know who John Wangland is if it wasn't for pro wrestling. That's not a criticism. And by the way, I think that The Rock is almost as big as John Wangland is.
Sorry, that pause screen a moment ago. They Photoshop a nice meaty cock where the microphone is. So he just set it up beautifully.
I can send you a few materials.
And the fact that he's done some things in pro wrestling that, some people don't like Vince Russo, and I'm always the kind of person that will give somebody an opportunity to prove people wrong.
Benefit of the doubt. Yeah, benefit of the doubt. Yeah.
But I believe that when somebody wrongs a friend, and when the check, what was that? Hang on one second. Yeah, the check cleared. Okay, now that the check cleared, I can say Rue is my friend. Thank you for paying me for this appearance.
Wow.
Durban, can we take a 20-minute break for laughter? And then you can edit that out and we'll come right back in while fucking Dave Chappelle here.
Well, I laughed initially because I thought it was a genuine interruption. And then when I realized it was a joke, I was like, oh, fucking come on, man.
It looks like there's a dog shit on the bottom right guy's living room roof.
It does actually.
His bathrobe, by the way. Have we pointed that out? The bathrobe,
Yeah.
or I mean, like that is. Could we get are we going to know we're going to record? Are we going to have this like set in stone ahead of time to maybe be dressed in proper attire, or just leave your screensaver up if that's what it was? That close up of your face, and I'm sure it's on many a profile on many a websites. This bathrobe thing's a little off-putting.
Handsomely.
Fantastic. Like he gave like so many like McDonald's coupons and like.
I gave it's not a holiday, but I gave you Groundhog Day money.
Eric, oh gosh, that's the last time that we've talked, dude. It was Groundhog Day. Holy crap.
You got that Groundhog Day check, boy.
Oh, I've got that. Yeah. It finally gets, it's made out of rubber, so it balanced so many times.
Yeah.
Man.
Come on, dude.
So are we switching over to Wrestling with Reality soon, or
yeah. Can we have some fun?
The best thing is it's about to get worse once JCV starts talking.
Yeah.
It's like that's actually the cool part of the show.
Somebody
once Seth Rogen starts talking, we're in for a world of shit.
something to somebody that I consider a friend,
Mhm.
I side with my friends because I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong.
Yeah.
It hurts you. It's something that you did not like.
Let me just say one more thing before I pitch it to Josh and JVD. I was not hurt. I was not offended. What Vince likes to do, and what a lot of people of that mindset like, and we're not going to
pause. Derek Brooks, great friend and listener of Get My Go, he pointed out in the YouTube comments that he's saying that he wasn't offended, but he proceeded to do a 57-minute show about how he wasn't offended.
Clearly hurt.
I just want to bounce back to his comment. He's going to pitch it over to Josh or the other guy. I guarantee you, Rue's a catcher. He had a pitcher.
And with a lot of people of that mindset, like, and we're not going to talk politics. We're not going to talk politics. But you like to lump in everybody into one category, and I think the word that they use is snowflake. Yes. And I will have to say, you are looking at someone, even though my political ideologies line up with someone who you might consider to be a snowflake, I don't get offended. I don't get hurt about stuff like that. I get disappointed and I get angry. That's not what a snow.
And you wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
What are you, my dad? I'm not angry. I'm not upset. I'm just disappointed. And look at those eyes. That is all people. Look at it.
Everything about what I'm looking at shows anger, like that nice backdrop, the Phillies hat and everything. Like, he just looks like he's such an angry guy that we have to get stressed here. We have to stress that you're not a snowflake. You're an angry guy. You're a mean guy.
Dane, if he was a tutor at a school for giants, you could say he has giant pupils.
That's true.
And goes, just, off the wall. I don't get
offended. What we need to do, Rue, is that I think we need to stop labeling things like, okay, what offends you may or may not offend, somebody else.
Well, we're not. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it's somebody that.
You cut it off at the good part.
Yeah, I forgot what he said after that.
Probably nothing, but you saved us. Thank you.
Yeah. Anytime there's a cut, it's obviously they went on and on about nothing or they repeated themselves.
Oh, I can't believe that. Where's the structure of this show? Jeez, I thought that Rue TV, the television entity, the broadcasting giant, would have a little more structure to his panel. Jesus.
Well, like you said, Mike, like Wanglin went solo, and throughout this whole thing, all you can see is that Rue wants to be solo, and he feels it's an inconvenience to have these other people here. Why'd you have him here then?
Yeah, I mean, they could. When Josh is making a point, he gets he keeps getting interrupted, and Josh gets pissed off. You can tell it happens twice.
You're unleashed right now, raw and uncensored, ladies and gentlemen. My co-host JVD.
So it's JVD. We called him JVC, JBB, JBL, everything you want. Wanglin met JBL.
He's Mr. Monopoly Night.
If I recall the things that what I said before was bad, I'm apologizing to everybody in this house right now for what's about to get said. And you know what I'm about to do. Okay. I don't know who uses.
Have you ever seen the? I just realized that this is a prequel to the film Philadelphia. The way they're all reacting at this guy who's about to pretend like his opinions on Vince Russo, are like newsworthy or like outrageous and shit like that. This is so cringe-inducingly shit. Like, what the fuck is Josh doing right there? And the way, what's this host called again? Rue?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the way he's going like that. This is I'm not going to say the word, but this whole thing is completely bottom right corner.
I was going to say he's seductively sitting there. He just needs his brandy in his right hand. You know what I mean?
Little Cavassier.
Yeah, spelled with an I. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I don't know who uses bro more, him or Zack Ryder. Okay.
Boom.
Because every other word out of that damn Sadrul's mouth is bro. Like, for real. He needs to get a clue.
You need to play the Seinfeld music underneath this. Like, hey, did you ever notice that Vince Russo says bro Like, what powers of observation? That's like saying that Mike Durbin,
he needs to get a clue and he needs to get his head out of his ass.
Oh.
Second off, who puts themselves as WCW champion yet doesn't have the fucking balls to sit there, step up, lace up a pair of boots, and get into the ring? I mean, the bad choice, that's one of the reasons why
come on. I mean,
what do you do? What do you do with that? I mean, like, come on.
Yeah. The fact that he doesn't know the answer to that question is fucking demented. Like, what was it, over 21 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Right, so there was an injury spree in WCW. They couldn't put Nash and stuff in the top spot. So they did this as a way to have, who was it, Booker T lose or something like that. So that this goes without explanation. This is the kind of guy who would watch Pixar and go, but how can Woody speak? It doesn't make sense. How the fuck would Buzz Lightyear think he's another toy? How would he not? Is it because he does? Because it's not fucking real, fat cunt. Seth Rogen, cocked up.
I mean, the bad choice, that's one of the reasons why WCW declined. It's because of him. Plus, you making David Arquette a WCW champion after a B-rated movie. A B-rated movie.
Yeah, WCW.
Okay? Which Rotten Tomatoes didn't even like. Okay?
What the fuck would this fat piece of shit know about tomatoes or tomatoes as they call
them? They would go rotten in his house. I mean, that could be one thing right there. What does this have to do with Rue and Rue's beef about Aubrey Huff?
Yeah,
exactly. This is ridiculous. So Rue's real problem is that this guy thinks wrestling's real.
And a B-rated movie, he savagely overrated that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some might say it's kind of perfectly rated where it needs to be, but you know,
overestimated.
Thank you.
If you guys want to hear a great watch along to Ready to Rumble,
tremendous.
You know where you can find that.
Yeah. I wish I might go seek it out.
The Joe Rogan podcast.
You can hear Brother Martin and Johnny Wingling do a watch along to this.
I never thought I would say that I wanted to watch or listen to them ever in my life.
Yeah.
So let's go even further. B-rated movie. Then you put him as a champion, right? So obviously it's going to decline. Not only the NWO was helping it, because it kind of was. But then you get fired from WWE before you went to WCW.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Wow.
I've never, in 21 years, I've never heard that before. Has anybody else?
No.
Yeah, and by the way, just like the response that he gets anytime he tries to speak to a girl. Nope.
I mean, where did that come from? I've never, ever read that or heard that he got fired from
Rude doesn't even like it. He's just got up to walk off.
Yeah, because he's a modern day wrestling fan. He's obsessed with the sport. There's my Roman Reigns side coming out. He's obsessed with a TV show that he doesn't understand.
And if you're going to hate Vince Russo, like all the old-fashioned talking points, how he killed WCW. Now, if you're going to hate Vince Russo, hate him for his terrible religious beliefs.
Yeah.
Ouch.
After you get fired from WWE, you get fired from WCW. Then you go to TNA, try to start a little group there, which I forget what the name of it, but I know the abbreviations spelled out the word sex.
Yeah, of course he'd forget the name of it because he's never heard of it. The faction could have spelled out the words JYM, and he wouldn't know what that means either. Or HAIR, and he'd be like, "Whoa,
sex sells." Well, guess what? Not your group, or not your brand, buddy.
Oh,
okay.
Oh.
Then you left TNA. Thank God, because if you would have gotten fired from one more company, I would have laughed my ass off so hard it would have made anybody's head spin. You call yourself a writer, and here's even funny. Let's go into this. You wanted to put yourself in WCW's main championship spotlight by giving yourself the belt. Yet when Kevin Owens earned the championship and he started crying,
oh my God,
your exact words on your podcast and your video were, "Cry when you actually earn something."
Hang on. I might have missed that episode of Raw. Kevin Owens had a legitimate fight on Raw and won the belt in the real fight.
He fucked everyone up.
It
was worse than what Fury did to Wilder today.
I don't know. Well, fuck him. But yeah, with fucking with this thing. So what's the difference between Vince Russo winning a wrestling belt and Kevin Owens?
One guy earned it, the other guy didn't.
No.
That's a very good point.
One guy earned the right.
I mean, it's cut and dry. Jesus.
Yeah. One guy earned the right to script himself to win a championship. The other guy didn't.
The other guy had a very large contract to write the actual things that were going on the television. The other guy was, I think we're going to put the belt on that guy. He earned it.
Yeah. See, you guys are bullying me, by the way, by not agreeing. Yeah, I'm a victim.
You're an army.
Yes.
You really said that? You really think you had the balls to say that when God knows you got fired from 2 different companies, you left the third one, you can't raise storylines for shit? Big time sound. And on top of all that, you really think for 1 minute you can last now? That's why you didn't get hired from AEW. That's why Impact doesn't want you anymore, or needed you ever again, for that matter. I've always hated Vince Russo since day one when he screwed up and declined WWE and WCW.
Oh my God! Come on! Seriously, this. First of all, this guy, the jumbled mouth, bring it over there. Every other word is. We're going about it. What is he talking about?
Then when he went to TNA and did all that crap, I hated him even more. I don't think I have as much hatred as I do than maybe Jim Cornette. But I'll tell you this, Vince, if you ever come into Philadelphia, I will find you. I don't care what I have to do. I will find you.
I will fucking find you
and beat you with an inch.
Vince, if you ever come into Philadelphia, I will find you and I will pay you for a photograph.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring Vince into the icons of wrestling for a few years. I'm afraid now because, BJV or whatever is going to come in whatever he's about to say.
He's not sure if he hates him as much as Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette has said he wants to piss on Vince Russo's grave. If this prick fucking outlives Vince Russo, I'd be stunned.
Yeah.
Vince has said before, I asked him, I was like, when you do these conventions, he doesn't do them anymore, but I said, when you do them, do you ever get these sick fans coming up and yelling at you? He said, not once has anybody ever came to him with any hostility. Everybody's nice to him and friendly, and everybody takes a picture with him, gets an autograph. He said he's never had a bad experience at a convention from any
what
fan.
age do you think that ABCD is?
40?
40, at least 42, 43. His heart is probably 56, 57. His cholesterol is probably 365.
And he's never had a 69. But the
if
thing
he
about
did, I hope he was on the bottom.
But the thing about this guy is like, to hold a grudge like this, we were literally threatening violence against the guy because of a pro wrestling storyline from what was it, 99 or 2000. It's not a good look for anyone. It's completely bottom right.
I'm also going to point out here, and this is a big deal with this threat towards Mr. Russo. Vince is 6'2". Okay, if you've ever been around Vince,
I think he's taller than that. I think he's taller than 6'2".
Okay, at least 6'2". He's huge, and I don't mean like he's a big fucking guy. And for this little clown to say that, it's kind of comical. He'd come up to Vince's nipple, and let's see how he'd think it's a pepperoni. He might want to bite it, but still, Vince is a big fucking guy.
Yeah, but at the same time, this guy's as wide as Vince is tall. So
that's a good point.
Even
if Vince ever met him, he'd be going, "Hey, bro, you've got side boob in your armpit there, bro."
To Philadelphia,
you like vinyl?
I will find you.
That'll be the end of you. Do you understand that?
I don't care what I have to do. I will find you and beat you within an inch of your life. Not enough Geritol and Centrum in the world will save your ass.
Fentanyl?
He wrote that ahead of time.
Screwed wrestling fans for too long. And the fact of the matter that, again, I'm going to keep bringing it up because it's the funniest fucking moment I've ever known. Putting yourself into the WCW championship spotlight because you think for once your career would have been somewhat relevant. No. Nope, sorry. I'd rather take my foot, shove it up your ass, and then shove it up everyone else's ass who thinks it actually matters. Because I know.
Don't talk about shoving stuff up people's asses when bottom right's around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
His eyes did widen.
Yeah. Yeah. But bottom right just booked himself to be WCW champion when he heard that.
Yeah. I might have to agree with it.
I think bottom right's the name of this episode.
It actually matters. Because I know for a fact you were the one who pushed Ed Ferrari into doing the Oklahoma gimmick. I'm surprised JR didn't kick the crap out of you for that earlier. Because I sure as hell would have done it.
Well, JR can't kick the crap out of him because he's a twice recovered stroke victim. That's there's answer to your fat question. Fat round tits. How do you get tits on the side?
Care what anyone else has to say. Oh, Vince Russo's the greatest writer. They can do me a favor, and that is to suck right here.
Oh my God! You usually need a stick to get down there,
and that is to suck right here.
So anybody else? His fat, disgusting guts. What's going on here?
Anybody else get seasick when that happened? I thought the Kraken was about to come out of his hole.
Oh.
I think you got to pay a couple extra bucks for that size of the Drew McIntyre shirt, by the way.
Yeah.
It's the suck.
This is the first. This is the first Get My Go episode that's being screened on the IMAX. Oh,
Russo. I will always hate Vince Russo. He is a laughing stock to the entire wrestling writing industry. Me, come here. I mean, I will brag this man and myself, we wrote a script in 25 minutes that was better than anything WWE has written or Russo has written in his entire career. Yeah.
Let's predict the script. I'm going to go ahead with open the match with Brock Lesnar versus The Walk. Second segment is the NWO reforms to wake up. This. How would you ever say something like that publicly and not see that fucking Purple Rain album? Fuck that. Me and this guy, we come up with a better album than that in 25 minutes. I wish that fucking bottom right squirted some blood and it went down bottom left. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I thought he was grabbing a cupcake or something. I thought it was just a little jockeying for position for a second.
And when he did that fantasy booking of Brock Lesnar versus The Walk, he then went, oh, actually, speaking of which, let's cook up a stir fry while we're at it.
This is good TV.
So, Vince, I got some news for you. Hang up your pen, bro. Hang up your podcast, bro. Because if I have it my way, your ass is done.
Oh.
Whoa.
We got to get Vince on here, man. I'm sorry. We got to get Russo on here to listen to this. I would just like to see his reaction. He wouldn't even be offended, I'm sure, but I would love to see his reaction to that.
Yeah.
If hang up a podcast.
If he has it his way, it's going to be deep fried. By the way, did you ever notice that Vince Russo says bro a lot?
Never.
Because Seinfeld just pointed it out.
Well, I don't know how anybody can follow that.
Not even me.
Let's not forget that Vince Russo even got fired from an indie wrestling organization in Colorado called Rocky Mountain Pro.
That's not true at all. Anybody know anything about that?
I've never heard of it.
I remember when it went down,
left.
but it wasn't anything fireable. It was a disagreement that he had, and he decided to leave rather than be a distraction to anybody.
Yeah, I think it was like one of the young wrestlers like just totally disrespected him or something like that.
Yeah.
And he left.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Yeah, he didn't get fired.
That's the thing that something like a Quadruple X needs to remember is that Vince Russo doesn't need to work in wrestling. He's a very rich man.
What's Red Rob got to do with this?
Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Rue TV. But the thing is that this Vince Russo doesn't need to work in wrestling. That's why he was able to leave. What was it, Rocky Mountain Pro?
Yeah.
He doesn't need it. He doesn't need to go to WWE or WWF because of people like these other three, or at least the other two, especially the bottom right. I would assume that they paid Vince Russo money to hear him speak about pro wrestling and shit. He's got your money. He doesn't need this to go to one of these companies. It's not an end. They're insulting the guy for having options.
From Rocky Mountain Pro. Yeah, I forgot about that. Wait a minute.
He used to do. Here's the thing.
Wait, I also forgot. He also tried to help write for a company that combines Christians and the Bible and wrestling.
Why do you think
his quote unquote new direction on life?
Wasn't that his company?
Yeah, it was his idea and his company. He didn't try to write for it. That was his. It was his vision.
What's up?
He did two. I think they did 2 shows, right?
It was Ring of Glory.
Yeah.
I thought I think he's referring to the Devotion Championship Wrestling that Jim Cornette made fun of. That Vince wrote a couple of shows for and then didn't continue. So Vince wasn't the one pushing the Christianity. He just helped him out. That's what I remember from like last year or the year before.
Oh, the one that was in like Utah or something, right?
Yes, the Utah one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan though of Jim Cornette's new wrestling promotion. It's called Preachy Liberals Who Say the N-Word Pro Wrestling.
No, and the Utah thing, I don't think he was fired from that. I think like COVID hit.
Yeah,
and
it was
then
COVID.
Vince,
Exactly.
Vince stopped traveling. Everybody stopped traveling, you know?
Yep.
He didn't get fired from that, you fucking moron.
It's just this obsession, man. Like that is some deep rooted like fandom right there. For you to be that like, and in your house with whomever's there, I'm sure, that gentleman, a big birthday cake or something. I don't know how they can't separate it in this way. This again, back to Wanglin and Martin. This goes beyond, those two at least come off as passionate compared to these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy here in the corner this is sick. What he just did. That is very disturbing.
Bottom right.
Here's something you might want to hear.
I get it.
And I know his minions are listening to this right now because they
His
are.
Midians?
They're listening. Have you ever listened to That's Life? That's Life is Vince's podcast where he speaks about how he thinks everyone should live their life.
Yeah, that's life. You're right.
That's life. That's life. That's life. A lot of times on That's Life, ladies and gentlemen, he talks about the fact that you should not worship money. You should put others before yourself. And you should, what the true meaning of life.
I heard in Vince Russo's next episode, he's doing an episode which Rue should like. It's about the importance of microphone stands.
This is the synergy with Wangland and Wangland's Vince Russo rant. This is where it completely lines up. You can almost play them together and they sound exactly the same. Vince does a show called That's Life where he talks about God, but he also wants money. He wants your money. How dare he want your money?
There, man. What's Wangland's motivational podcast called?
He doesn't have one anymore, but it used to be called Monday Motivation.
Yeah. That's inventive. When did it come out?
Not always Monday, I don't think.
When did the host come out? Not that there's anything wrong with that, bottom right.
The things that Vince talks about on That's Life, it's almost like he's talking about himself when he's talking about the negative things, because I feel that a lot of times Vince puts money first before people. I feel like
Oh my
Vince
God.
puts ratings and sizzle before actual human beings and before morale and before morality. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, just look who he hired. Platform on his web. You know, I just who could just say his name. It's Aubrey Huff. How well did that work out for you, sir?
Ouch.
That didn't work out for you.
Mike, I've got a challenge for you. The newest Get My Ghost song has to use all of his as a drum track, and you got to come up with a song.
Yeah, we will mock you.
Yeah.
This happened. Does this happen to every like person with notoriety that has an open email address? Does this happen to everybody that just because you don't get a response back, you become so butthurt and you get so disturbed that you have to go on and talk about them on a podcast for 57 minutes? Is that how everybody else goes?
All his cough sounds sound like the fucking Mike Myers noise or Michael Myers. Oh, what's that name again? Or the noise sound again?
You talking about Jason?
No,
That's
was that Jason?
Yeah,
that's Halloween.
They all look alike to me.
I don't know. Whatever. No, I think you're right, Mike. Who knows?
Yeah,
Who gives
it's
a shit?
Jason.
This guy's a loser.
Midnight Mike knows the answer to that one. Shout out to Midnight Mike.
Yeah.
Well, but anyway, one other thing, with That's Life, I feel like it's Vince's therapy session, his self-therapy session. Yes. I don't think he's talking to us. I think he's talking to himself. I think he's got some issues. I think he's severe, and there's nothing wrong with this. I had
issues.
Very many people who, that too. I know.
What he literally just said about Vince, I don't think he's talking to us. I think he's talking to himself. That's what his three guests are saying to themselves while this prick's talking.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who have many issues. And I think Vince holds a lot of guilt for doing a lot of things in the wrestling business and things that he's written over the past. And I feel like that's part of the reason why he likes to portray himself in that light. And if you don't believe that he feels guilt for certain things,
no.
Why don't you just ask him?
Ooh.
I'm gonna ask you a bottom
sorry. That poor fat bastard just landed on someone else's property and he's having to pay out. He is devastated at the moment.
So what do you think's going on here? Do you think that the McIntyre, we'll call him Glasgow, do you think that fucking Glasgow is in somebody else's house, or he invited that guy over to his house for a silent game of Monopoly? Or do you think that's his their son? Not there's anything wrong with that. Do you think that or like his captive or whatever the fuck's going on? Is this his? Yeah,
well, you can tell you could clearly tell that he's lying when he lies. It's very easy. It's an easy tell. When a liar lies, it's pretty easy. He's not a good guy
because his mouth is moving.
What cracks me up about him is that the fact that at one point he would be like nightly, whenever there'd be like WWE wrestling or any wrestling on whatsoever, he would do a live watch along on Twitch, and he'd be back in the matches. He'd be back in the matches. He'd be back in the matches.
That's the one where he could have moved the mic away, but he didn't.
Yeah, if you could play that last one on the loop, that last cough back to back, bottom right would love it.
Watch along on Twitch.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
In the matches. He'd be back in the matches. He'd be back in the matches. He'd be.
Take it, boy.
Let me tell you.
Not only could he have moved the mic, so you didn't hear it, but also the mic would be out of the way so he could get his fist in front of his mouth properly.
Yeah. Although as soon as that fist appeared, bottom right, I wouldn't have about it. Not that there's anything wrong with that. This bottom left guy, whatever the fuck his name is, I can't remember the letters. Is it good for someone to be so thin in hair on top to at this stage have a mullet? Look at that. He has the shortest mullet that's ever lived. He's good. Fucking Josh has more hair on his armpits than JCVD has on his head.
Dwayne, thank you for that, because I want to segue into something real quick before we pitch it to Big Josh.
Well, that's where we're going to take a break. We're also going to pitch it to somebody else. We're going to stop for now, and we'll pick up next week. We want to thank everybody for watching this grueling video, this horrible video with us. It's rough, man. Trust me. This is like the third time I've had to watch it now. So
I got to point out the freeze frame on BJV here in the corner. I guess he hit something good.
He hit something good. Or someone else hit one of his properties. What are the two big ones? Paul Mall and what is that? I don't know. Like
Boardwalk in Park Place.
That's it. All right. Yeah. I reckon he's got those. Someone's just landed that and he is fucking rolling in it now.
Well, speaking of games, if anybody thinks they've got what it takes and owns a PlayStation and has that online thing, I'm a big Worms guy. So if you think you can go up one-on-one with the H-Man, I'm going to book myself into the main event of a game of Worms.
What is your PlayStation profile name?
I don't know.
So it's really not an open channel. Really not an open invitation.
Yeah. Yeah, just DM me and I'll eventually add you.
No, don't even DM Hughezy. If you want to get in touch with Hughezy, the best place to do that is on youtube.com/Hughezy Entertainment, right?
No, in fact, I'm only going to add people that are in the Get My Go comment section.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you dare come at me in any other way, then I wish AIDS upon you.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Depends if you're from the bottom right or whatever.
Well, tell us about Hughezy Entertainment.
Yes, it's the video clips of the podcast that I do called It's Hughezy Hello. Soon to be releasing within about a week, a pretty good Elvis episode with Durban, where I consistently tricked him into saying offensive comments. This week, recording a pretty original episode, a Christmas-themed court case with the Chadster, whose real name I don't want to know, and all kinds of stuff there from the world of right-wing politics to pro wrestlers to comedians to some music stuff. It's very good. And if you're a pro wrestling fan, check out Keep the 100 official on YouTube.
Where can we find you on Twitter?
Well, don't find me on Twitter. Find me on Instagram at the Hughezy. Instagram is it's way easier to get guests via Instagram, and nobody's following me. So be a good boy and don't be a bottom right, and go follow me there.
Yes, and you have another episode of another show that you do, which I'd like you to plug right now because, well, I don't want Rad Rob to message Josh and rat on me again. So go ahead, Hughezy.
Yes, it's called Dork Side of the Ring. It's a completely original title that only 3 people came up with before. And there's been episodes about CM Punk, Chris Jericho, and this week we did one about Dirt Sheet Riders / Sean Ron Sapp.
Sean Ron.
Oh, Sean Ross. I meant the Jamaican reggae singer Sean Ron Sapp by Sean Ross Sapp, where we went after him and we debated the issue that AEW may or may not be racist with what's that guy, Brad Shepard?
Yeah.
Yes, and he quite controversially made a lot of accusations during it, and it's a good one.
All right. Tell us about Mallertown.
Yes, check out Mallertown on not all platforms, but you might find it on some platforms. I don't know. I'm new to this, but all the big ones, Apple and Google and Spotify and that shit. Mallertown. Look, it's a bunch of like crazy idiots that follow an overnight sports talk radio show, but there's some weird and interesting characters. And last night I interviewed a blind guy, and he, when he first got on the call, because everything always goes well for me on Mallertown recordings, and when he came on the call, he had no audio. I couldn't hear him. He couldn't hear me, and he's blind, so he doesn't even know if he's in the chat room. So, on the Zoom call. So that was interesting and fun. But no, he drank a shitload of wine, which is interesting to watch a blind person pour a glass of wine, let alone drink it. So no, good times. We have a laugh. My buddy Robbie the Mariner fan, man is just a riot with his Robbie's Rage. So yeah, check out Malatown on anywhere some podcasts are found.
Yes, and your Twitter. Everybody pay attention because it's very confusing.
This is very confusing. On Twitter, I am at that sussy guy. Just imagine that Aussie guy and put an S where the A should be.
Yes. Chadster.
Yeah, I'm going to plug Instagram as well. Instagram actually where people buy stuff. So at IB Exclusives on Instagram, website ibexclusives.com. Check out the upcoming private signings we've got.
You just had Matt Hardy yesterday, right?
Yeah. Quick turnaround signing with Matt Hardy. Yeah, it was done in a very short amount of time, but had people sending stuff in. So if you see anybody we've got, baseball, wrestling, and whatever else might pop up, you send an item into me, I go get it signed for you, and then you get it returned. It's a pretty easy process. For podcasts, tmptempire.com. You can check out New Generation Declassified on there. Everybody on this panel has been on New Generation Declassified. I'm actually liking the show more and more as I do it every week because it's enjoying something. It's enjoying wrestling for a change. So it's been a lot of fun as of late. Yes, Hughezy.
Did you ever see the Lex Luger Tatanka storyline?
We got to do another episode to cover the intricate details because we haven't covered it in detail yet.
We got to do it.
I've never seen it. Can I watch it and then we'll do an episode about it, Chad?
Sure.
You should have seen. You'll never see it coming.
Never. I'll say it right now. I still didn't see it coming to this day.
I'm pretty sure I've watched WWR do it and I still don't know what happened.
Yeah, well, I can tell you what happened. Some fat hog came in looking for a goddamn banjo, and the sardine was thrown in her mouth, and that's how the fucking that's how the episode ended.
If it's got a cool beat, you don't need the words. Don't matter if it's got a cool beat.
Can I finish, please? I'm
yes.
not. I didn't interrupt anybody else. I was respectful.
Let me finish.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, buddy.
I also have a show on the Russo brand. I'll talk about Vince Russo a little bit. It's called the Triple Threat Podcast with John Paz, myself, and the franchise Shane Douglas. If you've ever heard of that guy, I hope that they don't have anything to say about him in Philly with these other clowns from a little bit earlier. But that's on Russo's brand. Also, Eyes Up Here with the Queen of Extreme, Francine. 4 episodes a week on Patreon, patreon.com/Francine Podcast.
All right. One more thing I'd like to, I need to apologize right now to Wrestling Otaku. As you can see, my green screen behind me is not, there's a lot of problems with it. I'm phasing in and out.
One of the guys, Mr. Clean, Mr. Cue Ball, Mr. Perry Saturn, he has like a green screen or whatever. Of course, people, who do podcasters, whatever, have a green screen. And his green screen was so freaking flaky. It was shaky or whatever. Like you could literally see the outline between him and what was going on in the background. It was like he was literally moving around and you could see the green screen and parts of his body were fading. And it's like he would move his shoulder and like parts of his shoulder would disappear. And I'm like, what the fuck? You don't know how to work a fucking green screen, or you're supposed to be a professional and you don't know how to work a green screen. Oh my fucking God, dude.
He had a big problem with that. A guy that does the majority of his recording behind the Safeway.
Yeah, well, to be fair, this is a blob who thinks that Ireland is inside the UK.
And he used a lot of derogatory terms about anyone from the UK.
He's right about anyone from the UK. He was right. They're a bunch of you-know-whats. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but your bottom rights.
All right. Yeah.
Please bring back wrestling with reality. Please.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
We need them as a good palate cleanse. We need John Wayne. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week, and we will do the part 2 of this tremendously entertaining Rue TV clip. Thank you.